And he said, what's up, what's going on? And she answered, well, she told him the whole thing, and she said, right now, I'm scared you're gonna beat me up. And this time, she reflected. She said, okay, this and this and this happened to me, and like, there must be something wrong with me. She looked into herself. It's not normal that I have this guy and he beats me up, this guy beats me up, and that guy beats me up. There must be something wrong with me. So then she met this guy, and he said, you need a breakthrough. And she didn't know what a breakthrough was. But he put her in touch with this lady who was going to do this session called Breakthrough. And it took 60 minutes. And when it was finished, all her fear was gone. And completely gone, and never came back. She stepped into the metro. She sat down, and a disabled guy sat right next to her. And normally, she would have shat herself of fear, like a man, a disabled man. You don't know what's he going to do next. But she was calm. She was sitting there and listening to her music. And then the guy poked her on the shoulder. And she went, yeah. And he just went, and she showed him what time it was, and put back the music on. And then he poked her again, and she, yeah. And he reached out his hand and wanted to say hello. And she went, no, I don't want to get to know you. And she just sat there really calm and secure and confident. And it wasn't like she was, oh, wow, I did it. I wasn't scared. And I said no without feeling scared. It was just normal for her, like putting her shoes on. So the confidence and liberty she felt since then was just amazing. It was complete transformation. So she felt free and confident. And this man who had put her in touch with this lady who helped her, they became best friends. And after 2 years, they became a couple and lived happily ever after. So, as you can see, on the left, it's me. This was my story. And you might wonder why I told you this story. I think it's a good example of how a person can be in conflict with herself. And you can see it in many situations in my story, like staying with someone for 14 months who treats you like shit. Of course, I didn't like it, but I stayed with him. And I could have gone to the police, and I, in fact, stood many times in front of a police station, in front of a police car, and said, come on, you can do it, just go in, you can do it. You just tell them what's going on, and they put him in prison, and you'll be fine. But I never did it until we got really physically, when it got really bad. So why did I attract those guys? Why why do I stayed with the third one for such a long time? Why did I visit the second one, even though he had been insulting me and showing really weird things of him before? And I'm going to tell you why, but I'm going to, well, two experts are going to tell you why. The first one is Dr. Joe Dispenza, neuroscientist. He's a specialist in this. He's been doing that for ages. He wrote the book Evolve Your Brain, and I went to a conference to see him, really interesting stuff. And what he says is the psychological model tells us that 95% of our behavior by the time we're 35 years old is unconscious habitual behavior. So it was unconscious, my unconscious behavior, being with them, attracting them, staying there and taking shit. And the next one is Dr. Bruce Lipton, cell biologist and author. I went to a conference of his too, really funny guy. And what he says is the subconscious mind is operating at 95% at the daily minimum, probably 99% of the day for most people, and is 1 million times more powerful than the conscious mind. 1 million times more powerful. So that's why I experience all of that. You can see the typical image of the mind. The tip of the iceberg is our conscious mind, and what's underneath, what's hidden is the subconscious. You can see it's much bigger, much more powerful, a million times more powerful. And as I was the one who made the decisions, most of the time subconsciously, I put myself in these situations. So I created my reality. And whatever your reality looks like, you created it. And I have another specialist who's going to back that up, T. Harv Eker. And he says, whatever results you're getting, be they rich or poor, good or bad, positive or negative, always remember that your outer world is simply a reflection of your inner world. If things aren't going well in your outer world, it's because things aren't going well in your inner life. Another example. Let's imagine I have a wound on my left hand, like you can see here in the picture, okay? But none of us two knows that it's there, okay? High five.
Ow, you asshole, you hurt me. Stop hurting me. Why did you do that? What did I do to you?
So whose fault is it now?
Another crazy woman.
So whose fault is it now that I'm in pain? Is it you?
Well, I didn't know about your pain.
Exactly, you didn't know about my pain. I didn't know either, so we can't really blame anyone, right? Okay, so if you like, you can sit down. Thank you. So, yeah, we can't really blame anyone, but what we do most of the time, and I think even you, who didn't think it was her fault, we go, you have to change. I can't tolerate this anymore. You have to do that more. Like, you have to tell me more that you love me. You have to show me more affection. I don't want you to smoke. You have to change in order for me to be happy. And what we also do is we change ourselves. Like, in order for, like, we go in a relationship. Oh, I'm wearing only long skirts now because my boyfriend gets jealous. Or, oh, he likes my hair like this, so now I'm wearing like this. Or I stopped smoking for her, things like that. Or even when we don't know the person yet, we try to change ourselves so that people like us more, okay? Like, I don't know, wearing uncomfortable shoes on stage just to be taller or something, okay? We do it very often. But we go, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. But every time you point with finger at someone, you might have heard that, there are always 3 fingers pointing back at you.